Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for tuning in. We have a great show. What is happening, ladies and gentlemen, especially in the Senate, is vindicating my voice, vindicating this channel. We have a new Attorney General, William Barr, who has already promised a Strzok Page investigation, an investigation into why the FBI utilized a FISA application, a FISA warrant with evidence purchased by Hillary Clinton, the Steele dossier. Specifically, we have William Barr, who has stated on record that there's more to investigate in terms of the uranium deal and Clinton's ties to Russia, specifically the uranium deal, than anything to do with Trump colluding with Russia to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated by Debbie Wasserman Schultz in a primary that they said was neutral and fair, which in reality was not. We know that from the WikiLeaks, DNC, and Podesta emails. In order to explain the nonsensical propaganda, there has to be, an infinite amount of run-on sentences. To my super chat, thank you so very much. You give me every incentive to rock these live streams. I actually have an upload, which is kind of hilarious. I was at the gym today and I curled a 110-pound barbell, a 110-pound barbell 10 times, if you could believe that. So not that amazing, but if you go to the gym, and you focus on weights, you can get up there. And so I did that 10 times, 110-pound barbell. I'm going to upload that just for fun right after this, just so, I guess you could see another side of me. Also check out my Second Amendment channel as well. But watch that upload after this. It's me curling 110 pounds for 10 reps. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read you this. I was published many times in Salon until a former editor said that I should no longer be published there because she did not appreciate my viewpoints on Madam Secretary. This is January 23rd. Lindsey Graham renews probe into Hillary's emails. Democrats burst out laughing. The hubris, the inability to even fathom that Hillary Clinton would face legal repercussions for a criminal act. It's astounding. It is astounding, ladies and gentlemen. Democrats burst out laughing. This is the Salon article today, January 23rd. You would think that with everything going on, see, the mainstream is not interested in Peter Strzok saying we'll stop it. They don't care. They have no interest in even the possibility that Hillary Clinton will experience repercussions that any other American would experience. They are so far into their world, their reality. They are so deep into the mindset that it's done. It happened. Oh my goodness, it happened. We can't discuss this again because this is old news. This was 2016. We can't discuss this again. It happened. It was they covered for Hillary Clinton fair and square. There's nothing to see here. There's absolutely nothing to see here. And it's very interesting that it's actually happening. This is vindicating everything that I've been saying. There's a new Clinton email probe in the Senate. The DOJ is going to investigate Peter Strzok and the FISA applications and the origins of Trump, Russia, which is complete bogus nonsense propaganda. a purely politically motivated hit job. Everything is going to be either revealed or declassified. People are going to get indicted. And I have been saying this since 2015 that, 2016, I've been saying that Clinton's going to get indicted, and she will eventually. But you're not hearing a lot of this. Like, I'm one of the only channels, of course, Tom Fitton and Judicial Watch, of course they're talking about this, but I'm one of the few people who's actually discussing and talking about this because it's extremely, extremely important. Legacy media, exactly. That's true. That's true. So let me read you this. This article today. New Judiciary Committee chairs eager for yet another go at Hillary and the FBI. Dems suggest Michael Cohen. That makes no sense, but let's hear how. So, South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham, the new chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, plans to launch new investigations into the FBI's investigation of Hillary Clinton's email server. Ladies and gentlemen, if they catch illegal activity, which they will, it is not possible to transfer special access program intelligence outside the United States government in a legal manner. Brian Pagliano, all of these people are going to be front and center. Reddit Stone Tier, I believe is Paul Combetta. This is all public record. The public record, ladies and gentlemen, is enough to get you excited. The public record, ladies and gentlemen, is going to vindicate everything that I've been saying. And on all my writing in the Daily Caller and The Hill, the Huffington Post, and Salon, this publication, who will never publish me again. And by the way, my articles went viral in Salon. So, Graham, who backed President Trump's demands for investigations into several Obama-era scandals last year, now plans to probe the FBI's handling of the Clinton email investigation and its Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act warrant application that targeted the Trump campaign advisor, Carter Page, The Hill reports. So, Graham angers Dems by digging into Clinton-Obama controversies. Who cares? This is The Hill. New tensions are flaring on the Senate Judiciary Committee over plans by newly minted Chairman Lindsey Graham to dig into Obama-era scandals. Who cares? Dick Durbin, of course. Oh, yeah, the thrilling days of yesteryear. No, it's a criminal act, Senator Durbin. This is going to be like the History Channel, it turns out. Oh, yes, it will be. You cannot commit egregious crimes and get away with it, at least not in terms of a server outside of the United States government. You can't have that. You can't have that. CJ Matt, thank you. You can't have that, ladies and gentlemen. That's not feasible. I keep saying it's not sustainable, and I've used that term before. Durbin said he was once concerned about Graham's plan, but quipped that, there is that question about Jimmy Carter, which he probably wants to ask. There you go. They're trying. It's kind of hilarious because they are so jaded and warped. In their view, there's no need to investigate again. Lindsey Graham doesn't have to investigate. Why? Because it was a cover-up fair and square. It was a cover-up fair and square. That's it. It was a cover-up fair and square, and that's all you need to know. Clinton unintentionally did it. She got out of it. She weaseled her way out of it yet again. Yet another scandal that couldn't stop Hillary Clinton, and so we can't talk about it again. But I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this is vindicating me. I am telling you. Graham turns focus to Clinton email probe, draws Democratic mockery. Who cares? There's a new Clinton email probe in the Senate, and I'd much rather have it in the Senate because the Republican senators know They're a little smarter than most of the congressmen or people in Congress on the Republican side. They know that 2020 is on the horizon. They know that if they don't flip the narrative to people who actually did commit crimes, if they don't focus on the people who actually did commit crimes, then you'll still have this echo chamber on Twitter that magnifies fake news. Now, I can go through 4 or 5 major bogus stories, some that had to do with horrendous, horrific, atrocious tragedies, where the narrative was the evil Trump person did this, and oh, we found out that's not true. The left is being crushed by the weight of its own hatred for Trump. And they can't say anything about Trump bringing home Americans from war because he plans on doing that. He is doing that. The opposition is the wonderful Democratic Party who wants to keep Americans over close to 10,000 in conflicts and quagmires. And you have, ladies and gentlemen, what took place is vindicating everything. Graham angers Dem. Who cares if Graham angers Dems? So new tensions are flaring as the Senate Judiciary Committee over plans of newly minted chairman. He's the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee. He doesn't need this. The Senate is controlled by Republicans. He doesn't need anyone's acceptance. He's going to start a new investigation. So I have a love-hate relationship with Lindsey Graham. Sometimes he's amazing. Sometimes he's like, not so amazing. But right now, he knows there are 2 issues that'll help sink Democrats in 2020. One is Clinton emails. It will never, ever go away until she's indicted. It will never, ever go away, ladies and gentlemen. Ever. It will never go away. And who's talking about this? Like, it's like, this has to be, like, everyone needs to be excited about this. At least you don't have to trust Barr. Like, honestly, the whole trust Sessions thing got everyone so jaded. Like, look, just like the expression, Rome wasn't built in a day. Well, it's taken a long time for Trump to wrestle control of the government from 16 years of establishment. I mean, really from establishment control from day one, but from Obama and Bush, you have 2 administrations that were more alike that were more similar than people think. Okay? Obama pursued the same strategy as Bush. Obama had a failed NATO intervention in Libya and destroyed that country. Obama did nothing when Putin invaded the Ukraine, just like Bush did nothing when Putin invaded Georgia. Obama actually presided over a uranium sale that he could have vetoed, but he didn't. How does that work? And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, so it's like, it's not hard. It's not hard. It's not hard to see that there is a real criminal in Hillary Clinton, and Trump was set up. Now, if you just flip the script, it's so easy. If you just flip the script a little bit and focus on the facts, Eventually, Clinton gets indicted. We don't know how. We don't know when. It'll happen eventually. The walls are the protective shield of James Comey, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, John Brennan, James Clapper, Sally Yates, Susan Rice, Loretta Lynch, Bill Clinton, even the protective, that shield, that buffer. You see, there are cracks in this entire apparatus. The media can't fathom that she gets indicted, just like the media couldn't fathom, couldn't even envision, not even a little bit, that she would lose the election in 2015. I said she couldn't win, and she lost. So Graham turns focus to Clinton email probe. What happens when they really investigate with declassified documents, with a new FBI director? Obviously, Christopher Wray doesn't seem like he's going to play ball, but we have William Barr. You have 2020. You have the election coming up. You have a new attorney general. You have a new CIA chief. You have a new NSA chief. You have a new FBI chief. You have a completely new government, at least in terms of the top. You have James Baker under criminal investigation. You have James Baker under criminal investigation, ladies and gentlemen. You have Andrew McCabe under criminal investigation. They're looking at James Comey leaking classified memos. So when you have the Yahtzee, that's wonderful, but it will take years. That it could be. No, I don't. Oh, well, at least we'll have a story to tell by the time brain shift grandchildren. Brain shift. Oh, brain. Yeah, the Yahtzee. I'm not down with that. I'm not down with any of that stuff. AI, no thanks. I don't need to what is that, Siri? That little I don't need any of that stuff. Driverless car. I don't need any of that stuff. I'll drive myself. Or I don't need any of that stuff. Who needs that stuff? Who needs AI? The Yahtzee, thank you. Who needs that stuff? Genetic engineering, all this. Who needs it? Alexa, what do I need to speak to a computer? I just, Alexa, how did Hillary Clinton transfer top secret intelligence? I don't know if I'm going to get an answer for that. Alexa, how did Brian Pagliano transfer top secret intelligence so that Hillary Clinton could hide her Uranium One emails from the government? I don't need that stuff. Who needs that stuff? Have we become so? I'm not like any person, I could be really lazy, but how lazy do you have to be? Alexa, tell me things that I could just look up myself. And I'm sure you won't give me a liberal bias. It's why do I, I have friends who have it, and at dinner parties, I never call her Alexa. I always just call her by her given name, Brennan. Yes, Nosegal J with the touchdown. Nosegal J for the score. That is good. That actually is the name. Could be James Clapper also. Thank you, Nosegal J. Yes. that is the name. They should just have John O'Brennan's voice. President Trump is the Manchurian candidate that Putin installed after poor Hillary Clinton was cheated by the Russians hacking the DNC to let people know that Bernie Sanders was cheated. And Bernie, by the way, was a ploy to get votes away from Hillary Clinton. President 45, 45th president. Yes, okay. Like, so, I mean, it's like, ladies and gentlemen, like, we have this very bizarre world that we live in where literally 2 years ago, 2 years ago is ancient history. 2 years ago is just ancient history. My live chat is awesome. I have has to be one of the best live chats, if not the best, in all of YouTube. So, like, how would Alexa answer any of the Clinton email nonsense? So we have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, and let's just read. Graham previously told reporters this month that he would do a deep dive into the FISA issue. Conservatives have repeatedly insisted that the Justice Department violated Page's right, of course, by collecting his electronic communications. The FBI has said it was investigating Page because they believe he was conspiring with the Russian attack. There was no Russian attack on the 2016 election. That actually never happened. We have zero evidence as a nation, as a country, nothing that the DNC was hacked. We have no clue. We are trusting CrowdStrike, and CrowdStrike was outsourced by Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party. We have no clue. Graham also told Fox News last month he thought the FBI phoned in the Clinton probe because the agency was in the tank for her campaign. Of course, there's a certain unevenness here about how you investigate campaigns, Graham said, claiming there was a double standard between how the FBI handled the Clinton investigation and its approach to the Trump campaign. Trump responded to the news the Democrats responded to the news by mocking the new Judiciary Chairman. Let them mock all they want. Do you think that I care? Like, when people would try to make fun of me when I was on the left, they would try to insult me. Do you think I cared about their insults? It's like they live in their own world. Who cares? They live in their own universe, their own fantasy world. It's that it's not even safe. Like, there are these, you talk about tribalism, you talk about different factions. You are never good enough on the left. The indictments will take place. Could be next week, could be next year, could be the end of Trump's term. They will take place. They will take place. But like I said, I use the analogy, there are too many spinning plates. You can't have, like, Vox and the Washington Post and the New York Times and MSNBC and CNN and the Daily Beast and all of these. It's not enough. Clinton's criminality, it's just not enough. There's not enough media. The media apparatus is not big enough, nor is it influential enough, because it's been complete. Like, every week, there's a major story that it gets completely and utterly refuted. They use the dumb word debunked. There have been more debunked left-wing stories. There have been more stories that have been completely refuted, where, I mean, you have journalists who are essentially activists. They're not journalists anymore. They're activists. You're not talking about journalism. You're talking about activism. The Washington Post is not a newspaper. It is a direct extension of the Democratic Party. There's no difference between Vox, the Daily Beast, and the Washington Post. There is no difference. And the Young Turks. There is no difference. You can, some pretend to care about Medicare for all and all that stuff. Meanwhile, there's no legislation. Bernie Sanders had Medicare for all bill, didn't make it out of the Senate. No votes in 2017. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has not drafted legislation. None of the freshman class of progressives who were like, fight the power, fight the oligarchy, fight the oligarchy. Well, they're not fighting anything. They can't even find Mitch McConnell's office. Do you understand? This is what we're dealing with. They have zero plan. Zero plan. Cheryl Atkins is amazing. She's absolutely wonderful. But they have zero plan, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Kyron. Thank you. They have zero plan for Medicare for all, zero plan, zero interest. If you had a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a wife, or a husband, and they kept saying, "Oh, honey, I love you. Oh, baby, I love you," and then they didn't do they were never there. They would stand you up for dates. They would insult you all the time and take advantage of you. "Oh, I love you." Oh, that's the Democratic Party. They demand complete loyalty, not only of your mind, of your soul also. Do you understand there are people on the left who are petrified of being called a Trump voter? Do you understand there are people on the left who will not retweet a conservative tweet, even if the tweet was "the sky is blue," they wouldn't retweet that for fear of being labeled a Trump supporter? You have news story after news story completely refuted. Completely refuted. And they don't ever the trust in media, legacy media, is at an all-time low. I mean, it's at an all-time low. So when Lindsey Graham starts a new Clinton email probe, ladies and gentlemen, spread the word, ladies and gentlemen. This is a new Clinton email probe. Now, I know this is not flashy. It's just me with my little red hood. I'm like Little Red H.A. Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood. It's nothing flashy. Nothing, cool. No one's telling me anything on MySpace. No secret spies are telling me anything on Reddit. There's no, it's not like intriguing, fascinating, thrilling. It's just me. Thank you, CJ Matt. Thank you. Red Hoodie Goodman. Eric H526. It's just Red Hoodie Goodman. There's nothing special. I don't have super secret spy agents speaking to me from MySpace. I don't have that. HA not connected. I am not HA not. I'm not connected at all. But it's happening. It's happening. It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Just like I said. Just like I said, it's taking place. 2019 is going to be fun. Wait till the Senate investigation starts and be here on this channel at least 3 to 4 times a day. Little Red Riding Hood. Omar Pena. Little Red Riding. It's just little old me. I don't have anyone talking to me on MySpace or Reddit, or my phone. But I'm telling you, it's happening. And they're going to, and it's going to be a two, there's two narratives that will be completely exposed at once. Hopefully, that's how it's going to go down. Hopefully, you'll have two narratives, exposed at once. Okay? And then you have Comey. We're talking again about Hillary Clinton's emails. Yeah, we are. We are. I've never stopped, Comey. Do you understand? I've never, ever, 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 ever stopped. Ever, ever. Every single one of my segments. I don't care if I'm talking about the weather. I'll bring up the Clinton Transferred Special Access Program intelligence. I'm curling 110-pound barbells. I'm like, Clinton, SAP. That doesn't sound great, but check that out. By the way, Patrick Lee. Socialism is great until you run out of people's money. That's true. And I love how Patrick Lee, thank you. I love how Bernie was never viewed as a socialist, except Ezra Klein of Vox tried to make him one, and he was like, Democratic socialist. Patrick Lee, thank you. Mitchell Smith, winds are changing. Soon we'll be able to smell the left coming from a mile, and I will wear a MAGA hat everywhere I go. Exactly. Yes, Mitchell Smith. Yes, I like that. But be careful with the MAGA hat, just, depending on where you go. Who knows? You know how people are crazy. But yeah, Patrick Lee, thank you. Mitchell Smith, thank you. Rhonda, Iowa girl, AOC and Oversight, entertaining. Yeah, that would be awesome. That will be awesome. I can't wait till there's like a Gomer moment, Louis Gomer moment. There's a reason that all the major, the Washington Post and CNN pretty much love Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I mean, they do. Every once in a while, they have to call her out. Then she said something that I can't even say on live stream regarding a progressive agenda. It's like, well, why don't you draft legislation? You don't have to actually go that far. Thank you, McFitz. Thank you. Yes. Rhonda, Iowa girl. Thank you as always. I hope all is well. Prawn D. Think there's any chance non-authoritarian people across political spectrum can congeal into a political movement that can affect policy change? Good bar exit. Good bar. Yep, that would be. You know what? I think that identity politics is it's a somewhat new political phenomenon, and it's used primarily to silence. It's used by the left actually to silence the left more so than anything else on the conservative side, because conservatives really don't care. Like, for example, I didn't care when I was on the left, but I really don't care now that I'm supporting Trump. People can say anything they like about me. Like the Humanist Report, and tried to insult me, and I said, well, let's debate. I haven't heard anything. Crickets. So, Prawn D, thank you. Yeah, I have to talk to Sticks about running with him. Becky Pamplin, I'm headed to Florida next week. Should I wear my deplorable t-shirt or leave it in Texas? Becky, it's up to you. Whatever makes you feel good. Whatever makes you feel good. Becky Pamplin. Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Robert Clausen. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about the socialism aspect of Democrats is well, they don't. There's no foreign policy element of it. So if you're truly a socialist in philosophy, wouldn't you want to, I don't know, save $100 billion, $100 billion with a B, billion, use that money every year for social programs instead of just keeping Americans abroad? So President Trump is bringing home Americans specifically because, for one of the reasons, the wall is supposed to be, the wall will cost billions every year to maintain. So you do need that money, but also mainly the moral issue is you want Americans home from never-ending conflict. You want Americans home. You want Americans away. I have written in the Roanoke Times, and I have written in The Hill against never-ending quagmires and counterinsurgency wars. So I've been published. My writing has, And the interesting thing also is the same Democrats who will tell you that, oh, there should be gun control in America. They have no problem with, just what, weapons deals with Clinton, keeping Americans in never-ending quagmires. They have no problem with that, and it's a big issue to me. What kind of hypocrisy? And where is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez saying, "Bring Americans home"? Where is Bernie saying that? Like, that's why I loved Bernie. Those people who claim to be Bernie supporters can say whatever they want about me. There was only one, maybe a couple people, but there was only one person that was taking heat and whose articles were going viral and who was saying that he was going to win. He would have won in a fair election. Thank God Trump won, but he would have won in a fair election. But there's only one person who was actually saying, and people were like, "Oh, it's so unreasonable. It's so unreasonable what H.A. Goodman is saying. Oh my God, he's crazy." And the same people who thought that I was a little bit too loud, that I was a little bit too obnoxious, that I was a little bit too arrogant. Because in reality, Bernie Sanders, he never thought he could win, then he got close to winning, and then he got cheated, and then he just accepted not winning. That's unfortunately sad. And then he just went back to being a marketing ploy for the Democratic Party, which is sad, very sad for me to, like I said, I literally cried when the little bird flew down on the podium. I would watch that and cry, and I would be like, "Oh my God, I'm part of something wonderful." It was all fake and just nothing. It was all a charade. And maybe that moment was real for those people, and maybe even for Bernie, but really the moment just dissipated into Debbie Wasserman Schultz trying to pick off the bird, and then the bird pooping on the Democrats ever since with a squadron, poop squadron. Thank you, Dave. But speaking of my evolution as a human being, you got to check out my latest segment, my 357 Magnum. Well, it's not mine. I rented it, but just ladies and gentlemen, click to 1819. This is a great grouping. Click to 1819. This is a fantastic grouping, ladies and gentlemen. And this is 20 feet away with the 357 Magnum Ruger revolver. So I'm trying to show people a little bit more of myself, going to the range all the time. Today I was at the gym from larva to exactly. From larva to HA Second Amendment. I do. I own an AK, an AR. I own a Smith & Wesson 500, 10.5-inch barrel. That's one of my first HA Second Amendment segments. So check that out on HA Second Amendment. And I own a CZ97B 45 ACP semi-auto handgun. And yeah. And if you want to see like my AK-47, it's California compliant, and they'll show you right here. This is a Father's Day mag dump, ladies and gentlemen, and it's 40 rounds. I go full semi-auto. Yeah. Here you go. This is my AK-47. It's California compliant, and I explain in many videos. There you go. Matthew Golder. Well, Matthew, I mean, what is it? Home defense? Is it, are you going to go hunting? Is it home defense? You're probably not going to go hunting. If it's home defense, then it had, speak to a professional or an expert or instructor at your range and get his take, Matthew, because I don't know. You might want a revolver. You might want a semi-auto. It just depends. It really just depends on you. The best thing to do is try out different firearms. Try them out at the range. You go to a range, you join it, and you can hopefully rent different firearms and then see which one's the best for you. Because you're not going to, like, for example, I don't have the best time with all different types of firearms. There's certain ones, like, for example, the um, Springfield Armory XD 45. I love. But there's, you know, I'm not a fan of the 40 Smith and Wesson round. So I mean, it really depends. It depends. Do you want a 9 millimeter? Do you want a 45? Do you want a revolver? Um, you know, yeah, Matthew, thank you. Yeah, just go. I mean, look, I'm not an expert by any means. I mean, I have knowledge. I have enough knowledge to have a channel, but definitely get an expert's opinion. Because it's just like, honestly, it's like a bat in baseball, or a batting stance. Really, I mean, with the Second Amendment with firearms, it's just you have to personalize everything to an extent. Well, in terms of, like, just because it's a semi-auto, there's like a million different types. Just because it's a revolver, a million different types. So you know, what's your house setup like? Do you want a shotgun? Do you want, who knows? I mean, you have to ask the instructor. But ladies and gentlemen, so it's happening. It is happening. It is happening, and I've been saying it. And you know what? The interesting thing is that nobody really knows what's going on. Nobody really knows what's going on. Nobody's really talking about it. Nobody's really talking about what's taking place because they've already assumed. The assumption is that nothing's going to happen to Clinton. It happened already. Now it's about Trump, and that's the reality. That's the reality. There's no way at all that there's no way at all that Clinton could get indicted, because you know what? The cover-up was fair and square. They covered it up fair and square. So there you go. There's just no way. Meanwhile, you have new revelation after new revelation every single day. Every single day. Trump's current personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, insisted that the Trump Tower project was in the earliest stages and claimed the New Yorker that no plans were ever made. There were no drafts, nothing to file. Shortly after the statement, BuzzFeed News published a news report showing the detailed plans of Trump's richly imagined vision. So what? Is it the uranium deal? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Which is worse, a Trump Tower project, or which is worse? It's just unbelievable how they spin the narrative. They spin it to where what is obvious, what was seen at any point in time in U.S. history, a president selling the Russians uranium would be comical or just truth teller. Thank you. It is. It would be absolutely ludicrous at any point in U.S. But it's normal now. The Trump Tower project, big problem. Actual yellow cake uranium to Putin, okay, no problem. That's the mentality of Democrats. That's the mentality of Democrats. So it's completely nonsensical. It really is completely and utterly nonsensical. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. I'm going to upload a segment on Clinton emails right now, and then I'll upload my segment where I'm curling a 110-pound barbell 10 times. It's just fun. And definitely check out HA's Second Amendment. Eric H526, thank you. Thank you, everyone. God bless, and I will see you very soon. Definitely make sure to check out the upload. Thank you.